This is a video on how to process Buartnuts. Buartnuts are a cross between Heartnuts and Butternuts and taste quite a bit like walnuts. I'm going to show you the process I created to process Buartnuts. You need an oven that you can heat to 400. Let's set at 400 right now. Some other things you're going to need: the Buartnuts. I'm going to show you that in a second. Walk it down the stairs so I can show you the Buartnuts. So, the other things you're going to need are Buartnuts. There's a bucket of Buartnuts right there, 5-gallon bucket. I'll probably do about half of that this morning. You need a pan to put those Buartnuts in. Cookie sheet's nice. You'll need some gloves. These gloves that are green on one side and black on the other. Those are pretty good gloves for processing Buartnuts. And you need the gloves because, one, your hands will get dirty, but two, the Buartnuts are very sharp. And I have cut my fingers in a couple places as a result of not using gloves, you see. So I would recommend using gloves like this that are this thickness or thicker. And these are kind of rubberized. So. And of course a vise. You're going to want a vise. The vise is to break open the Buartnuts. So the process is simple here. I'm going to put a bunch of Buartnuts onto this cookie sheet. I'm going to run them in the oven for half an hour. And part of the reason I run them in the oven is it makes the husks easier to come off. But also it does make the nut a little easier to come out, and more importantly, I've discovered that the nut itself has a skin on it, and if you process it this way, you can get most of the skins off the nut. So that's the real reason I bake them this way. Just wanted you to see what this nut looks like. You can see it's quite pointy at the top, or I'll call it the top now, and there's a lot of little things there. If you're holding it, it can cut you. So that's why I use the vise and gloves. And I also wrap my hand around it with a glove like this while I'm squeezing it with the glove on, because it never gets so tight it'll crush your fingers, because this is longer than the thickness of your fingers and thumb. And that way it won't go flying. I like to wear glasses when I do this. I have plenty of light. Wear these gloves to protect my hands. In addition, it's nice to have another tool, a few tools here. Simple thing like something to put the nut meats in. So I have that to my left. And something to get the nut meats out, because they don't always just fall out when you crack it. So I use this. Anything that's pointy, really pointy, you could use a pencil. I don't care what you use, but something pointy that you can get the nut meats out easily. So, and a discard bucket, that's just below me on the right. That's for discarding the husks and the shells. Basically, this is the procedure. You put it in the vise, and you turn it a little bit until the shell kind of comes off easy. I call it the shell. Husk, I should call it the husk. Take the husk off, and then once the husk is off, you can see what they look like. They're pretty sharp. I don't know if I can show that to you very well. They're sharp. They have a lot of sharp edges, and the tip is pointed. And maybe I got a better one than that to show you, but anyway, put it in the vise end to end. Any other way you crush the nut. This way, you usually don't crush the nut. The nut meat I'm talking about. So one good crunch. And a second good crunch. Take it out, open it up. Your nut meat's inside. I don't know if you can see that. Doesn't usually want to just come out easily. So I usually take this little pointy thing and take it out. And you can't see what I'm doing, or just kind of poking it out with the pointy thing. And oftentimes the actual, I call it, I don't know what you call this, but the part that surrounds the nut meat, it's a skin, I guess I call it. There's some nut meat skin right on there, and what this roasting process does is it separates the nut meat from the skin, so you don't have to have this skin on it. And then you throw your shell in there, nut meat over here, and repeat the process. And it's a tedious process, but the nut meats are worth it. And I'll show you some more when I'm done. So this is what the nuts look like in the pan. Just before I like to bake them for 10 minutes. And see a whole nut meat? That's a whole one where the skin came off. Right there, you see? You don't usually come out that way, usually come out in pieces, as you can see. And that's what the whole nut looks like. That's what the whole nut looks like if it came out with the skin on it. I put it in the pan so that I can pick through any little shell fragments I might get, and you're going to find some no matter what. And then I bake it for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. And we'll see what it looks like when it comes up. And here's the jar of Buartnuts that I processed right here. Hope this is helpful, and yes, I'm sure there's a better way to do this with other machines, but this is what I figured out to make it work.